Court nullifies Edo PDP governorship primaries. Southeast leaders step up moves to free Nnamdi Kanu. On the foreign scene, Kenyan police patrol Haitian capital amidst violent crackdowns. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Abuja as the federal government's decision to sign the controversial Samoa Agreement has sparked outrage among clerics, right groups, and civil society organizations across the country. The agreement, signed on November 15, 2023 in the Pacific island of Samoa, allegedly contains clauses that compels underdeveloped and developing nations to support the recognition of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender community as a condition for receiving financial and other forms of support from advanced countries. The news of Nigeria's ratification of the agreement became public on July 1st, 2024, when the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, confirmed the development at a reception organized by the European Union in Abuja. The revelation has ignited a wave of criticism, particularly from groups that uphold Islamic and Christian values, those who highlight the cultural sensitivities involved. In response to the backlash, Bagudu's media assistant Bolaji Adebi clarified on Wednesday that the documents referenced by the minister pertain solely to Nigeria's economic development. The minister's aide emphasized that the 150 billion naira trade component signed by Atiku Bagudu did not mention LGBTQ rights or same-sex marriage in any capacity. Despite these clarifications, the controversy surrounding the Samoa deal continues to fuel debates as well as opposition across the country. Many believe that the inclusion of such clauses, even if not explicitly mentioned in the signed documents, poses a significant threat to Nigeria's cultural and religious values. As the situation unfolds, it remains to be seen how the federal government will address the concerns raised by various stakeholders and whether any amendments or reassurances will be made to align the agreement with Nigeria's socio-cultural and religious ethos. 5 suspected kidnappers have been arrested during a gun battle with police and kidnappers at a forest around Gwagwa and Dede axis of Abuja. The commissioner of the FCT command, Bennett Igwe, who disclosed this while parading the suspects at the command headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, says the suspects were arrested during a 2-day streak operation between June 30th and July 3rd. He said operatives of the FCT Police Command from Utako Division stormed the kidnappers' hideout after credible intelligence information and engaged them in a fierce gun battle. According to him, the arrested suspected kidnappers collected a ransom of 12 million naira from one of the victims' families, while adding that the kidnappers killed 2 of their victims. He also said 8 unexpended live ammunition rounds were also recovered from the suspects, saying the arrested suspects have already confessed to their involvements in the crime. To Ogun State now, where the police command says 2 suspected kidnappers who abducted travelers along the Shagamu-Elisha Expressway have been neutralized, while others escaped with gunshot injuries. The Commissioner of Police in the state made the disclosure in Abeokuta, the state capital, while briefing journalists on the situation report on the incident of the police at the police headquarters on Friday. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi has more.
CP Abiodun Alamutu said 5 AK-47 arms and ammunition were recovered from the suspect, just as he urged members of the general public to provide information about the fleeing suspect.
On the 30th of June 2024, the divisional police officer in Ikene received a distress call reporting a kidnap incident at about 19:10 hours near the Labo Junction on the Shagamu-Ijebu-Ode Expressway. It was reported that unidentified armed individuals believed to be kidnappers accosted the Toyota RAV4 Jeep. The armed men who emerged from an unregistered Venza car fired shots at the driver's side tire and another at the rear side of the driver, forcing the vehicle to a stop. Subsequently, they forcefully abducted the occupants of the vehicle and fled towards Ijebu-Ode. Upon noticing the police officer's flashlight, they engaged the team in a gun battle. The anti-kidnapping squad's superior power led to the elimination of 2 suspects, while the remaining criminals escaped with gunshot injuries, leaving behind their operational weapons.
Alamutu added that the rifles recovered from the suspects are new, and the police will investigate how it gets to the suspects.
The victims, who were later identified as 1 Nigerian and 3 Indian nationals, were safely rescued unarmed and reunited with their families. Items recovered at the scene include 5 AK-47 rifles, 109 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, 8 AK-47 magazines, and 2 cell phones.
The government ambushed the travelers around 8 p.m. on Sunday between Shagamu Area Command of the Nigerian Police and Elisan Township in Ogun State. From Abeokuta, Abbas Ibrahim Talibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
The police in Benue State have arrested 18 persons suspected to be in connection with a violent protest that rocked Ukum local government area of the state on Wednesday. The police public relations officer of the state command, who disclosed this in a statement in Makurdi on Thursday, says the state commissioner of police has relocated to the troubled local government area to maintain security in the area. Recall that some youths had protested the killing of people in Ayati village by local bandits, resulting in the destruction of personal and government properties by the protesters. Following the violent protest, the state governor Hyacinth earlier declared a 24-hour curfew in the local government area. According to the statement by the police, it explains that the troubled local government had witnessed more deployment of security operatives to maintain law and order. Now, the alarming security situation across parts of Nigeria took center stage at the National Assembly on Wednesday, with lawmakers expressing shock over the heinous suicide bombing attacks in Goza town of Borno State. In the Red Chamber, debates during the plenary session focused extensively on the security challenges gripping Nigeria. Many lawmakers voiced their concerns, questioning whether the current security architecture has failed to adequately address the escalating threats in the country. Sagir Ibrahim reports from the Nigerian Senate.
The lawmakers blamed the recent suicide bombings in Goza town in Borno State on failure of intelligence on the part of security forces. These were sequel to a motion moved by Senator Ali Ndume on the suicide attack in Goza, Borno State. Lawmakers expressed concern over the loss of lives recorded in the blast.
Mr. President, as I said, the black spots are 3. What needs to be done can be achieved if the Nigerian army are given specific instruction and attention and provided with what they need, particularly drones and other technologically driven gadgets.
It costs nothing for the intelligent army to get devices in their phone to know where these notorious criminals live.
Let's think that for once we make a very passionate appeal to this government. Let this government be the government that will end insecurity in Nigeria.
If any other thing that we wish for ourselves, that we hope and pray for our country, revolves around the security of the people and their property.
The government should do the right thing. If we invest in education, the governor should take education as a priority, because nobody can believe this, that when you kill another person, you go to see God. We should talk less now about the military and arming the military. We've been doing that for years, and it has not changed anything.
At least we have brought up something very serious here, that we should also employ a lot of technology. The technology, you don't need to be physically there. We can monitor from miles away to know when there is likely going to be an infraction in security. And also, what happened there could also be described as failure of intelligence.
The Senate, however, directed the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to, as a matter of national emergency, provide relief materials and medical support to the victims. Meanwhile, the Senate on Wednesday also raised serious concern over the continued importation of hazardous petroleum products and dumping of substandard diesel in Nigeria, which it says possess serious threats to the country's industrial sector.
Also notes that the quality of the said diesel is below the Nigerian standard in terms of flash and sulfur levels. In spite of the substandard nature of the diesel, it has found its way into the Nigerian market. The Senate further notes that the stock of diesel in contention is priced below the fair market value, which constitutes dumping on the World Trade Organization rules.
The investigation, as suggested by our colleagues, should be holistic, very holistic. And that is also to unveil why somebody is producing diesel in the country and he had to go out to look for foreign market to sell the product. On the other hand, polluted or toxic diesel is being imported into the same Nigeria.
Less of a quality petroleum product is used. It leads to an early, destruction of the engines of these vehicles, including also its negative impact on our industrial sector.
This is an infraction, this is criminal, this is not in the interest of this country. And I beg you, and I beg you, and I beg you, we must see to the end of this infraction and this unwholesome activity.
This is too important to the economy of the country. It's important to the health of the citizens of this country, and it is also important to job retention in the country.
Senator Ekpenyong says the formation of an ad hoc committee will lead to a thorough investigation and possibly sanction those responsible to serve as a deterrent to others. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, reporting for Trust TV.
Staying in Abuja, a federal high court on Thursday invalidated the People's Democratic Party primary election that produced Asue Igodalo as the party's candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in Edo State. Justice Iyang Eko, in a judgment, held that the PDP's primaries held on February 22nd failed to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act as amended of 2022, the guidelines for the conduct of the polls and the party's constitution. Justice Eko, who says that exhibit PDP-1 tendered by the party was bereft of evidence, and he held that the plaintiffs, through the exhibits tendered, were able to establish a case against the defendants. The judge says that from the exhibits presented to the court by the PDP, he found that the returning officers who prepared the result sheets only sat down in a place to manufacture the outcome of the poll. He said the exclusion of the 381 delegates, including the plaintiffs, were against the provisions of the law. 3 aggrieved ad hoc delegates on behalf of the 378 others had sued the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP, its National Secretary and the Vice Chairman, South as first to fourth defendants respectively. The 381 delegates are those loyal to Philip Shuaibu, the impeached deputy governor of Edo State. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. We take a look at a popular combination between corn and pear and how its nutritional benefits is good for Nigerians. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take a second look at our top stories at this hour. Federal government under heavy fire over 150 billion naira Samoa deal. Court nullifies Edo PDP governorship primary election. Senators from the southeastern part of Nigeria have passionately pleaded on Wednesday in Abuja for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to order the release of detained Biafran nation agitator Nnamdi Kanu. The group of 15 senators led by former Abia State Deputy Governor Senator Ainaya Abaribe argue that unless Kanu is released, social and economic activities in the southeastern part of the country will continue to suffer. During a closed-door meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, the Senate caucus submitted a letter for onward passage to the President. Speaking after the meeting, Senator Abaribe lamented that the economic and social life in the southeastern part of the country have been severely impacted by Kanu's continued incarceration. The senators emphasized the need for Kanu's release to facilitate peace and development in the region, while urging swift action from the presidency to address the concerns raised. Staying on that story, the move by Southeast governors to intervene in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has sparked reactions from residents across Imo State. The governor's initiatives aimed at addressing Kanu's detention has prompted diverse opinions and discussions among the people. While some residents view the governor's intervention as a positive move, seeing it as a step towards addressing regional concerns and promoting peace, others have expressed skepticism. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise tells us more.
Some residents expressed mixed reaction over the governor's decision, while others commend the governors for their efforts to restore peace in the region.
It's long overdue. It's long overdue. He was kidnapped and seized all this while. But if they have woken up to go and ask the federal government to release him now, it's a welcome idea.
The man has stayed there a lot, and for them to meet, to have some tete-a-tete on how to release Nnamdi Kanu by meeting the Mr. President, is a welcome development. It's a nice move. I really applaud that.
These residents, however, describe the move by the Southeast governors as a welcome development and express optimism that he will be released soon.
Though he has suffered enough for years, he has been in detention, and I think when or if he's being released by the president, as they appeal, if the president can listen to it, I think it should be compensated to some extent to pay for at least the damages for him to set up his life and at least to start life, because he has suffered huge loss due to this incarceration.
The residents are hopeful that the release of the pro-Biafra leader will bring an end to the insecurity bedeviling the entire southeast region due to his arrest. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Now, corn and pear, a popular seasonal food combination among many Nigerians, are recognized for their rich nutritional benefits. Experts in the nutrition industry encourage people to consume these foods in moderate quantities to maximize their health benefit. Corn is a good source for fiber, vitamins and minerals, while pear provides healthy fats, vitamins and antioxidants. Together, they offer a balanced mix of nutrients that support overall health and well-being. Here's the report.
Pear, a popular African fruit, is commonly consumed with corn by many Nigerians, either as a snack or as a main meal. Black pear, or African pear as many call it, according to a dietitian, Temitope Osho, enhances the taste of the corn, and altogether, they provide a high fiber content that aids digestion, prevents constipation, stabilizes blood cholesterol, and controls blood sugar. Osho says this combination is also rich in antioxidants, which help combat chronic diseases such as heart disease and diabetes. On their own, pears contain essential vitamins and minerals such as calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, manganese, and folic acid, which are good for the human body.
To enjoy the benefits of the corn, one needs to be taking whole. That is, you take everything, don't remove the fiber. You take it together with the fiber because of the benefits. Then also, because the corn is so essential, in the sense that cooking method, the heat and the duration of cooking affects the nutrients in corn. So it is so if one is taken as popcorn or taken roasted or taken as smoked, it gives the nutrients.
Some Nigerians on the street of Lagos bared their minds on why and how they consume the combination.
Most especially fresh corn. I love fresh corn. The leaf is very fresh and with pear. But if the pear is very expensive to buy, that's just the boiled corn or the roasted corn and snacks at any time that is available to you. It's very expensive. And the usual is I don't usually take it. But I just said I should just eat it today.
The dietitian also explains why children should consume this combination more, especially pear.
Children consuming fiber fruits like pear, it helps them to enhance digestion. It prevents them from constipating. The most is also a source of calories to them because it is high in calorie. So it is mostly good for children. Adults can take it in moderation, but children can take it a lot because of the fat it contains. Though it's healthy fat, but it also helps them to gain weight.
Despite being a good source of healthy fats, experts advocate moderation in the consumption of corn and pear.
All right, let's take a look at developments on the international scene. The streets of Port-au-Prince were patrolled by Kenyan police officers on Wednesday, equipped with body armor and automatic weapons. This group, the initial UN-supported foreign police unit in Haiti, arrived the country in June responding to a plea for assistance to combat escalating gang violence. Currently, criminal gangs dominate approximately 80% of the capital, leading to over 580,000 individuals being displaced in recent months. The officers stationed near the international airport drew the attention of onlookers, but encountered no confrontations with gangs. Haiti's Prime Minister, Gary Conille, expressed gratitude for the multinational security support mission, emphasizing the urgent need to address the violence perpetrated by armed groups in the country. A contingent of hundreds of Kenyan police officers landed in Haiti back in June to participate in the multinational security support mission aimed at combating armed gang violence and restoring peace in the country. There will soon be reinforcement by police and military personnel from the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Benin, Chad, and Jamaica, bringing the total number of personnel to 2,500. Well, that is it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. Check back a little later at 2 o'clock for more news. But for now, follow us across our social media platforms. To stay in touch, also visit our website, trusttv.com, for more. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time.